This is so important. I wish someone had told me this before I finally found out for myself in my 50s. We have been given this incredible gift of thought. Thought works like a virtual reality show in our mind. You know, whatever you think can appear so real, but it isn't. It's just a thought. We go through life as though we're watching a horror movie, really, because we're so invested in our thoughts. We're so used to believing every thought that pops up and reacting to it and acting on it. You know, when you go to the cinema and you watch a scary movie, no matter how scary that movie gets, you're kind of emotionally protected because you know it's just a movie. You know that it's not real. You understand that you're watching a movie and it's not something that's actually happening. And this protects you emotionally. So in the same way, it's so helpful to understand that what we think is just thought. It's not actually happening. But these thoughts are so powerful because they create this kind of virtual reality in our mind. And if we believe that thought and we become very invested in it, it has a lot of power over us. And this is why the world is the way it is today, because everybody is living according to their thoughts, believing them, acting on them, not questioning them. This is why it's so important to realize this. You know, we don't want to live the rest of our lives under some kind of hypnosis, acting on every thought that pops up, believing every thought that pops up. When it comes to mental health, we need balance. It's a very unbalanced way to live if you're going to be living up here. If your home is your mind, living in the past, living in the future, living in this conceptual realm of what's happened and what might happen, this is very unhealthy. Really, there's no wonder that there's a mental health epidemic, because we still don't understand where the stress is coming from. We think it's coming from something out there. We attribute our stress and our anxiety to so many things. My upbringing, my financial situation, my relationships, where I live, my job, the people I work with. There's so many things that we can blame for how we feel and for our problems. But that's not where it's coming from, because you can have two people experiencing the same event and yet reacting and responding very differently to it. When you look at the world today, it's like, I have one question. Where's the wisdom? Where's the wisdom? It's as though we don't realize that we have wisdom and intuition and answers within our being. We don't trust ourselves, and everybody is running around like a headless chicken trying to find solutions to problems that we've created, trying to fix systems that are completely broken, and trying to do it all with the same level of thought and understanding that created these things. It's not going to work. What we need, what the world needs, is wisdom. Wisdom isn't something that's like some kind of weird, mysterious thing that only a few very lucky old people have. No. Wisdom is something that you and I have in this very moment. It's always accessible, but only if we tune into it. And how do we tune into it? By not being distracted. We need to connect with the voice that is true. right? We've been listening to the voice in the mind for a long time, and it's got us into trouble. I do want to say here that actually there's nothing wrong with thinking. It really is a gift. It's a wonderful thing to be able to do, but we've been misusing this gift of thought. The key is to change our relationship with our mind, change our relationship with our thinking, change our relationship with our thoughts. Because if the thoughts are in the driver's seat, and remember, there's some statistics about these thoughts, they're negative, repetitive, and unhealthy. Not only that, they are extremely detrimental if you don't have a proper relationship with them. We need to understand what part thoughts should play in our life. They shouldn't be in the driver's seat. Wisdom should be in the driver's seat. Wisdom is something that we've lost touch with, but it's not difficult to get back in touch with wisdom. But it's not going to work if you're listening to and believing every thought that you have and giving it your attention. Now, the question is, how do we do this? How do we change a lifelong habit and stop having this kind of relationship with our thinking? How do we change that? Because we're not aware that we're doing it, are we? We just do it. Start by noticing. Noticing. See if you can notice at least once today. Notice when you have just had a stressful thought or an anxious thought. I can't tell you how valuable this is. It might seem like a small thing, but it's actually, it's phenomenal. So go with me on this, trust me. If you can catch yourself at least once today and realize, I've just been having some stressful thoughts, or I've just been having some anxious thinking. I've just been worrying about this appointment I need to go to, or I was just remembering that abusive relationship, or something like that. Every time you notice this, you become completely present and aware. It doesn't matter that you are having the stressful thinking. Don't start beating yourself up. This isn't what the exercise is about. It's about noticing, and actually give yourself a pat on the back when you notice, because every single time you notice that you've done that, you've become completely present and aware, and you are listening to the voice of wisdom. These moments will save you. This has been my experience. They save you. You take your place in the seat of awareness. In that moment, you're no longer being controlled by your random thinking. In that moment, you have a deep intuitive understanding of what's going on in your human experience. And this is what we need to have mental health. This is what we need. This understanding keeps us emotionally protected, because we see what's going on. We're in this movie of our life. We star in the movie. We're in the movie. But we have this incredible capacity to actually zoom out and watch the movie as well. And this is what you're doing when you notice, when you stop, and you suddenly realize you're the actor in the movie, and all these things have been going on in your life, and you've been processing them through the way you see things, which is greatly influenced by how you grew up, where you grew up, who you grew up with, your conditioned mind. In that moment, you free yourself from your programming. You see what's actually going on in your experience. The question is, are you open to realizing this? Are you open to taking a little break from listening to your thoughts all the time and giving them your constant attention? Are you open to doing something really simple, like taking a little conscious breath? Do that with me right now. Just focus for a second on breathing in and breathing out. We'll do one conscious breath together. In that moment, you're not giving your thoughts your attention because you're focusing on your breath, and you can only focus on one thing at a time, thankfully. You know, if you've heard that a million times about taking a conscious breath, being mindful, deep belly breaths, and you're kind of tired of it and you're thinking, oh, that's not going to work. I've tried that before. It's too simple. Well, this is where the openness comes in. If you can be open to doing something so simple that you think doesn't work, you may discover that actually there's something there. There's something very valuable there that's going to bring you back to a place of wisdom and clarity and well-being. When I found presence and the difference between the world of my mind and the world of now, I discovered I already had mental and emotional well-being. Now, noticing isn't difficult. What is challenging, though, is remembering to notice. And this is why I've created something called the Today List. And the Today List is a very simple tool that can help you remember to zoom out of your experience and to know yourself as awareness, and to listen to wisdom, to take a conscious breath, and so many other things. It's actually a list of 26 things that enable you to live a very balanced, fulfilling, satisfying life. It's a list of things not for you to do, because I think we all have enough to-do lists. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful this is. This isn't about getting things done. It's not about crossing things off the list every day. Everything on this Today List is about gently bringing you back to that place of living a balanced life, you know, taking care of every part of your being, the physical, the psychological, and the spiritual. It's very natural, it's very organic, it's a very simple way to live. I couldn't find anything like this out there, so I created it. When I woke up to what's going on in my human experience and I stopped believing my thoughts and giving them all my attention, the wonderful result is that they let go of me. It doesn't mean that I don't have any stressful thoughts or anxious feelings, but when they come up, I know where they're coming from, and that keeps me emotionally protected, and I can better deal with any situation that comes up, which is called resilience, really. And this is what we want. This is what we need in today's world. We need adaptability, resilience, and wisdom. But where do we go to get these things, to find these things, to develop these things? This list will guide you into your wisdom and well-being. It will empower you to find your own answers. It will enlighten you to realize that certain problems perhaps aren't as serious as you thought they were. It will inspire you to start living. I mean, really start living, you know, because we've forgotten the point. We don't want to get to the end of this great adventure called life and to have regrets and to look back and realize, oh my goodness, all those things that I thought were so important actually didn't matter that much. We don't want to miss the point We don't want to lose the plot, right? Oh goodness, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. So let's do what we can to help each other out, shall we?